We're back. Bullheaded Podcast. I'm your host, per usual, Sean Tyson, here with Zoo and Peepers. What's up, fellas?
What's up, Sean? Just out here watching DeMarvelous DeRozan, man. Dropping 35 a game, pretty much. Zoo sent me a stat last night. Not even Michael Jordan had done that back in the day. 6 straight games, 30-plus points. Absolutely cooking, carrying the Bulls. Hopefully they surpass the Heat for that 1 seed, and the Sixers, even with all their moves, stay down in the middle tier, man. Middle tier.
Dude, it's so beautiful to watch,
It
especially
is.
when you put money on the Bulls last night to cover the spread. So beautiful, man. My boys getting W's and getting me paid, man. That's what I'm talking about. Shout outs to DeMar DeRozan. And I bet the under on Javonte Green because I saw 10.5 and I couldn't resist, man. Javonte Green scoring 11 points. Stop it. They don't watch Bulls games.
He's a highlight factor. I will say, every time I'm doing my edits on IG, he always is usually in like the NBA dunks. He's usually in the top 10 or 15 every week. So he's definitely a high flyer. He's a high flyer for sure. But
6'4" power forward.
Yeah. He
Bring
looks
back Chuck Hayes.
You know, it's funny you say 6'4". Like when I'm looking at his highlights, like he looks like he's way taller than, I guess his arms are like, he's got a huge wingspan because he looks way taller than 6'4", way taller. But I don't know. Like I say, we're going to be getting into the NBA trades and things about the future outlooks of the Eastern Conference. But right now we got to get to the nitty gritty of the Super Bowl. I will say that the Super Bowl was actually pretty cool, just in the aspect of seeing they did let the guys actually play football. Won a lot of calls in the first 3 quarters. I guess a lot of that got made up for in the fourth. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But, you know, the Rams actually pulled it out. I got to be the first to admit.
Storybook ending, man. Yeah, storybook ending.
That's what I said last part. Yeah. Matt Stafford, man, he stepped up to the plate, man.
Stop it, Sean.
No, I will say, listen, come on, man. I can't finish my point. He had an okay game, but that last drive was clutch. The last drive was clutch, and that's my whole point, if you let me get my point across. Matt Stafford had a great last drive. So I will say that the Rams, in terms of what I wanted to see in the storybook ending, is what I saw. Now, a lot of people root for the Bengals, and Super Bowl party that I was actually at, I was actually surprised that everyone was on the Joe Burrow train, but I guess that's what social media has done. So kind of felt like I was at odds at that party. But I'm going to ask the guys, what they thought about the Super Bowl, their teams and things like that. And Zoo, I'm going to start with you, man.
Man, Matthew Stafford lucky, man. He's one lucky dude, man. I'm telling you, this Matthew Stafford love fest, man. I told you, okay, he was in Detroit, boo-hoo-hoo, bad franchise, was mediocre, joins this franchise, he gets the Super Bowl ring, but now people are talking about Hall of Famer. This dude's incredible. I'm like, chill. He better than Jared Goff, but he ain't a Hall of Famer, man. That's just ridiculous, man. That is ridiculous. Are you kidding me? This guy threw 2 interceptions, almost cost his team the W. Joe Burrow's team was controlling the entire game. Joe Burrow didn't even play that well. He had I would give him an average game, an average performance. The Bengals defense was freaking pretty incredible. The offensive line was absolute garbage. This guy kept getting hit. Like, my Lord, that's just embarrassing. They got to fix that offensive line. Like, Joe Burrow, if he had an offensive line, he would have won the Super Bowl. That's pretty much what happened. Like, if he had an offensive line, they gave him time and opportunity to throw the football, he would have beat the Los Angeles Rams, which is fully loaded, man. But the thing is, man, Matthew Stafford, the Rams, I'm saying the Rams, not Matthew Stafford. The Rams pulled it off, avoiding the Odell Beckham. Man, my Lord, that injury. When I saw it, man, I got D-Rose flashbacks, man. That's what I saw. I saw D-Rose flashbacks. I'm like, man, this dude scores a touchdown in the first quarter on a roll. Like, this dude has been revitalizing his career with the LA Rams, man. So shouts to Odell Beckham. He got his Super Bowl ring, so I don't think he's that sad about his knee injury because his teammates got it done. But my Lord, like, I feel like the reason the Rams won was anything except Matthew Stafford, man. Cooper Kupp, my MVP. Lord, man, this dude, man, this guy's incredible. Like, this guy popped out of nowhere, man. And he's legitimately. He's cementing himself as the number 1 receiver in football right now. Like, his ability, his consistency, his production level. Even when Odell getting injured, this dude was double teamed, man. It don't matter. You get it to Cooper Kupp, and this guy's getting it done, especially yards after the catch, man. Like, his yak is crazy. So shout outs to Cooper Kupp winning Super Bowl MVP as a wide receiver. That's just rare. That's just rare. Like, you can make an argument for Aaron Donald, but Cooper Kupp's storyline, I feel like the media just likes that story a little more. Offensive player of the year. This guy deserves that Super Bowl MVP. So, my Lord. Shouts to Cooper Kupp because that run game, nada.
Yeah.
Cam Akers,
Tough
embarrassing.
game.
A yard,
I mean,
1.6 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Cincy's
Brutal.
D-line really surprised the hell out of me. Like, they've been good in the playoffs, but they really showed up in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and we all know, I mean, they always say, man, you win and lose games in the trenches, and the Rams' offensive line held off the Bengals' great pass rush enough and more than the Bengals were able to do to the Rams. Burrow got sacked 7 times. Honestly, looked like he got sacked double-digit times with the amount of times he was getting hurried.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that 4th and 1 at the end of the game. I can't believe they had second and 2, 2nd and 1 there. Take a deep shot, another short run, and then he just gets whipped around, to which I thought he almost completed that throw to Samaje Perine there. He almost did.
Mm-hmm.
I do think Perine
could have made it away, man. It was an inch away.
I do think he could have made a slightly better effort, but I'm not in the NFL. I can't say it. Game's on the line, but at the same time, you think you try and make the play. Tough shot for Burrows, man. Zoo, echo exactly what you said. Odell Beckham captained him in my DraftKings Captain Showdown. First touchdown, and then I saw him go down. Brutal, but I had T. Higgins in the back pocket.
Oh,
and so
Higgs.
Absolutely beautiful game from Higgins. He got away with a little bit of a little face mask there against Ramsey.
That goes to my point. They were definitely letting him play.
They were definitely letting him play. It looked like Ramsey got torched. Absolutely. He just got torched there. He clearly lost his footing because he, got his head turned pretty much in a 90-degree angle. But at the same time, I do think, last week we talked about the Bengals needing to get Mixon going. They actually did get him going. I mean, he had probably the best game of his playoff run this year. He had almost 5 yards a carry. Got to see a little Cincy special, a little tweak to the old Philly special in the last Super Bowl. Mixon throwing to Higgins. But look, man, like I said, this game was won and lost in the trenches. McVay even called out in that final play. He goes, Aaron Donald's going to make a play. He set it on the sideline, boom, rushes right through the middle and spins Burrow around like a rag doll. He might retire. I'm interested to see what he ends up doing there.
He wants money, man. Stop it.
He got paid, man. He's contemplating it. I wouldn't be surprised with how much.
I think
8 years, and he's been an All-Pro all 8. So he's had damn near probably the most perfect career besides Lawrence Taylor. I think it's him and Lawrence Taylor are probably the 2 best defensive guys to ever step on the football field. And not just him. Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, they all just rocked Burrow. To Burrow's credit, I don't think his inexperience really shone through that much. I do think that the inexperience of the Bengals secondary did, having to go up, obviously, with Odell out in the second half. Cooper Kupp made Eli Apple look like he was back in JUCO, man. I mean, it was just absolutely horrible to watch. It was just a lot of little plays here and there that were going to make the difference in that game. And we saw the Rams make the plays, Bengals not make it. But the biggest one standing out to me, Zoo, that Tyler Boyd drop is only one of the season, man. That was probably the pivotal point of the game right there, because that could have put him up another 3 points and allowed for a tie instead of a winning drive by the Rams. So shout out Stafford, man. I'm happy for him. But Cooper Kupp was the MVP of that Super Bowl. Absolutely.
Man.
Yeah, I'm kind of split on Cooper and Aaron. I understand Cooper's. I think Cooper, if you just look at the totality of the playoffs, Cooper was way more vital, especially after Odell went down. You kind of saw that Stafford was really not looking at any other receiver but Cooper. There was a couple guys I never heard of him, so that kind of
he mixed up Skronik with Kupp a couple times. You could tell he thought he was throwing to Kupp. It was actually Skronik. And that was the one off Skronik's hand, man. Got picked off right after the Bengals had scored that T. Higgins touchdown. So not Stafford's fault entirely, but the Bengals were getting some gifts, man.
I will say though that throw to Odell was, I feel like, on Stafford because he had to reach back, and I'm not going to say that was the reason why Odell got hurt, but it didn't help that he had to kind of reach back and he screwed his knee up on that. So that really sucks for Odell, considering he's kind of will be going into free agency. But Cooper Kupp definitely proved his worth this entire playoffs, and it kind of just makes me wonder where this will propel him into. Like, he's not, I don't think, going to have a season like this again, but do we start talking about Cooper Kupp in terms of him being a top 5 receiver, like in and out? Because, he was putting up pretty decent numbers with Goff when he was there. Like, it wasn't like he was a scrub. And Cooper is like, I feel like a lot of people this year are kind of like, oh, Cooper Kupp came out of nowhere. It's like, no, he was kind of decent. I know he got hurt one year, but he was like pretty decent coming out. And he had some good games. So it wasn't like he was just some scrub.
He was a wide receiver too, man.
Yeah, he was a 2, but he wasn't like everybody's. I think this year was just so confused And it goes to my point, like everybody's been killing Stafford, but I feel like he got kind of unlocked with Stafford. Like Stafford, I think has gotten. Now I'm not saying he had.
He's just better than Jared Goff, man.
Yeah,
That's all he is.
Jared
He's better than Jared Goff.
But he's way better than Jared Goff.
Yeah, he's
because we saw it's not just better; he's way better than Jared Goff. Because you see what
they put
Jared
up
Goff
3
did
points in the
Detroit.
Super Bowl with him, man.
Yeah, Jared Goff is
Jared.
not a starter. He's not a starter. He's just he's a starter because where he got drafted. He's not a starter in this league. Because you see what he did in Detroit, and even though we killed Matt Stafford,
he's a starter. He's a below average starter.
Yeah.
That's not a starter. What do you mean below?
That's not what you want in a Super Bowl team.
That's a starter, man. If you're a top 32 quarterback,
who would you take, Kirk Cousins or him?
Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins average.
Who would you take, Jalen Hurts or him?
Hurts.
Okay, then. And Hurts is probably looked at as being the worst quarterback in the league. Close to it.
No, what are you talking about? Worst quarterback? Man,
I don't think that, but a lot of people.
Get out of here. Worst quarterback in the league, man.
Zach Wilson.
You forgot about those young bloods in the
I
those
agree,
rookies,
but if you look at a lot of these talking heads, a lot of people don't think Jalen Hurts.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones is a receiver. He's a receiver.
Yeah, damn near.
He's a receiver. He should have been playing receiver when he first got into the league. When they saw it, and he might end up moving to that, but I don't know. But I'm just saying, Jared Goff to me is not a starter in the league. So to me, Stafford. And I don't care what anybody says. That throw he made in that moment where he did the no look to Cooper over the middle.
Beautiful.
Come on, man. Like he had he had one interception. I feel like that wasn't his fault, but he played a decent game. And on that last drive, he proved to be clutch. And that's the reason why they brought him there. And they won the Super Bowl partly because of him. Not the sole reason, because Cooper and Aaron Donald are the sole reson why they got there. And I was going to say Jalen until this last game because Jalen got destroyed. And even, man. I don't know if you guys saw the clip where I think Joe Burrow had that crazy throw he almost made to Piron. I think Ramsey was on the ground. And if Burrow would have just been able to look up, that was a touchdown, which would have been insane if that happened.
I don't think he had the time.
Ramsey was getting – now, I will say, I saw a lot of people coming to his defense saying, well, he travels. Nobody else travels. I understand that, but, man, Chase cooked him twice. T. Higgins, I won't give that on him, but just him guarding Chase, he was getting cooked with him. So, I think Ramsey, that's going to fuel him even more going into next year in terms of okay, I got a Super Bowl, but I got to now prove because nobody's going to be giving the benefit of the doubt coming into next year thinking they're going to start questioning if he's the number one corner. So I will say it was interesting, for both sides. Since these D-line, even though Rams D-line kind of came in the second half and proved that they needed to be there, since these D-line was solid all game because Cam Akers, Sony Michel, they couldn't get nothing going on the run game. And it was funny, I didn't really understand McVay until after, I kind of when they were talking in post game. He kept committing to the run because I know he wanted to just keep people honest. But man, kudos to him because, dude, if it was me coaching and I kept seeing -1, -2, +1, -2, I would have been bailed on that early. But kudos to him to keep pushing that because I don't know if I would have been able to do that. So, McVay learned a lot from his first Super Bowl, and I'll give him credit for adjusting. And listen.
When he's up at halftime, man. When he's up at halftime, he don't lose, man.
He don't. And that's a crazy stat. That shows you that shows you that he really does coach. Because he gets those guys believing we're not going out here sacrificing any lead. So you got to kind of give him that. And he's not just some, people try to say he's a boy wonder coach. McVay proved he's a head coach that I think he's also trying to angle for an extension too.
And the NFL for 5-6 years, he already been to 2 Super Bowls. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, they hired him in his early 30s, man. He said, "I couldn't believe they did it." In his own words, that's what he said.
And then they actually believed him and went and got a quarterback that he believed in Stafford. Most management is not going to, especially in football, is not just going to sacrifice a bunch of picks especially for a guy with Stafford. I can understand if you're saying, yo, we're going to go get Russell Wilson. Okay, I could see ownership be like, all right, do whatever you got to do that. But Matt Stafford, until this season, he had a lot of doubters. Like you said, he's always had arm talent, always had, and he had Megatron and was able to put up stats. But, if I'm the owner and the guy comes to me and say, hey, yo, we're going to go get Matt Stafford prior to the season, I'm be like, we can't find nothing else. Can we find somebody else we can go get? So kudos to him. He paid it off, and, it's going to be interesting, too, to see who they end up actually keeping because I don't think they should be in a mode where, how, Tampa Bay brought everybody back and Philly, I think that year when they won, brought everybody back. I think they need to, cut dead weight and actually, I guess you could say invent the wheel and get newer players. And I think McVay's the type of coach that will do that. because he understands more than anybody. Like, nothing ever stays the same. I think he should be able to keep his core pieces. It's going to be interesting to see Von Miller comes back. This whole thing with Aaron Donald retiring, it would be a travesty he retired right now. Like, if he could give us maybe 3 more years of, like, I didn't even know he was 8 years of All-Pro. Like, that is, imagine if he went 2 to 3 more years and did that. Like, we might be having a discussion. He's the best defensive player ever.
Yeah, I think he's already in the top two.
Yeah, he's already in the
100%.
top 2.
Tim and Lawrence. Yeah.
So that's a crazy stat by Aaron Donald. So, like I said, I would have been mad if he won it, but Cooper Kupp was the guy that they leaned on that last drive. You saw it, man. He was just everything. Now I will say, man, as a Cincy fan, I would be pretty pissed.
Oh, on that was their shot, man. That
linebacker one where he got that holding play
on 3rd and goal, and it should have been a false start too. The entire O-line moved before he snapped the ball, and they knocked it down. They missed the false start, and they give him a defensive holding call, 1st and goal.
Yeah,
man, that would have it would have forced one more play. That's fair. They would have had one more chance to tie it or to.
And all this
up.
Stuff about, I think they had 3 timeouts left, and since he would have drove the field, I'm Joe Burrow's second-year player, whatever. I think since he wins, if they end up if they don't convert that 4th down, I think since he wins, because Joe Burrow's gonna take care of the football. Joe Mixon was running well. Don't understand why he wasn't in on that last play either. Don't understand that at all.
Yeah,
he was hurt. What was going on with that? That was weird. But
especially on a 4th and 1, you needed a reliable check down opportunity there because they're sending the house. Yeah. They're going to send the house on that play, and they did.
I just assumed he was hurt. Like, nobody confirmed it, but I just thought he was hurt because it just did not make sense why he was out there. I mean, P. Ryan's a good backup, but nah. So I don't know. It's cool. I think it fits the LA narrative. It's just the land of stars. They were able to complete it. Saw the odds that I think the Chiefs still had the most. Like, I think they were plus 650. And I want to say Cincy was only like 1,200 plus 1,300, 1,200, which was pretty surprising to me because I don't see any. Like, I'm guessing they're factoring the AFC's loaded with quarterbacks and stuff, so it's going to be a little bit harder.
Making out of the AFC is going to be a bloodbath.
Every year. Yeah. And then I guess too with the NFC, there really wasn't. The Cowboys are always there, but I mean it's whatever. But I feel like in NFC it's a little bit more clear, and it kind of also depends on what Aaron Rodgers is going to do.
Yeah.
Because I do think this. We can talk about this later in the offseason, but I do think all this stuff coming out of Green Bay with the whole. Oh, we love all this stuff. I feel like they're setting stuff up to like say, hey, we love Aaron. So if he ends up leaving or doing whatever, it ain't because of us. Because Green Bay, don't have the greatest reputation with free agents and stuff. So it just feels weird. It feels weird.
Their PR has been off past years, that's for sure.
Yeah. Get into the NBA trades. I know we're a little bit dated because the trades happened last week, but we're kind of, I guess, foreshadowing and what this could mean for a certain conference. And we're going to be talking about the Eastern Conference. James Harden actually got traded. He's with the Philadelphia 76ers. Saw an interesting quote today saying that Philly was his first choice, which I don't believe. I feel like he's saying that now because he's in Philly. Because if you just remember his whole saga getting from Houston to Brooklyn, I'm pretty sure Katie and them did a little bit of convincing saying, hey, do you want to come? And he's like, yeah. So I'm pretty sure Harden was trying to get there. So Harden is on the Sixers, and we have that whole setup, and then you have Ben walking around with KD and Kyrie. So I'm going to ask the guys, how does this, since these trades happen, because those were the 2 biggest or the one big trade, how does this influence the East? Does it change your opinions, things of that nature? And people, I'm going to start with you.
All right, man. Well, I got to start with the Harden trade on the Sixers aspect of it, because I think the Nets are going to be interesting. Azu might not be. He's seen one game with Seth Curry on the Nets, and he's pretty much sold that they lost the trade. We were talking about that pre-production, everyone. So we already know what Zoo's going to say about this. Harden, though, man, I think for me, it doesn't really shake up, I think, like championship aspects. I mean, I do think that the East is still going to be jumbled. I still think it could be anyone's race here. To me, there's 2 things that I think that we need to see the Sixers deal with. One is obviously just the chemistry of Harden and Embiid. Are they still going to run the offense through Embiid and not through Harden? Because we've clearly seen it work when they run it just through Embiid and kind of allow Embiid to be able to kick it out to a guy and rely on him in Harden to be able to make a shot, right? That's kind of what he's been missing. He's had guys like a Seth or a Tobias Harris have good games here or there, but he's never really had like a James Harden And this is going to be interesting to watch. So Harden can play the point guard role. Zoo, we've seen him average 10 assists pretty easily in years past. So I do think he can step into that role. But honestly, Zoo, the more I thought about this trade, I thought about how big of a loss the Sixers had by losing Drummond. And I think it's because, and you can say, let me finish. Look, no, listen to this. Dude, the man is
talking about his weight or are you talking about his game, man?
Both. Because hey, man, just let him put his fat suit back on and he'll be weighing just as much as Drummond. So, look, but no, Drummond, look, he's the best backup big man in the league this year. Easily.
I give you, he's a phenomenal backup.
Phenomenal backup.
I want him on the Bulls.
Who's their backup now?
Don't matter.
No, it does, because Embiid is going to be exhausted. Look, man, he rumbles up and down the floor. He looks like he's gonna have a collapsed lung every time he's running up and down the floor. What is he gonna do in the playoffs when he wants to rest and he has to go up against a Giannis? Go up against a Vucevic, right? I know he's owned Vuce in the past, but when he wants a break, that's when teams take advantage of the Sixers. And if they don't have somebody just even competent to step in, I think they got Paul Millsap back. Paul Millsap ain't doing shit down low against any big man in the league. All right. So I'm not saying that it's going to completely affect the Sixers' chances at Eastern Conference Finals or, the finals. But I do think that it's something we need to watch, because if they're going to just exhaust Embiid and lose two of their solid role players in Drummond and Curry, man, they're going to be a little bit thin, I think, against a team like the Bucks that's way deeper, or the Bulls, which is also a way deeper team. So that's what I'm interested to see with them.
Yeah. Daryl Morey, this guy is goated, man. This is a goated GM, man. This guy just gets shit done, man. He's like, Sean Marks, man, don't get off the fucking phone, man. I'm getting this deal done. When he gets his man, he gets his man. When he gets a target, he wants his rule. 2 superstar rules, man. To win a championship, to maximize your opportunity of getting it done, get 2 superstars and just hope you get lucky, man. You gotta get some luck on your side. 2 superstar, you can get it done right. So you got Joel Embiid, who's the MVP right now, odds-on favorite. Like, it's him or Jokic right now. I put them as top 2 for MVP candidate. Him or Jokic right now, MVP candidate. Joel Embiid has the better storyline. Jokic won it last year, so the voters gonna vote for Embiid this year. So if he plays the majority of the games, he's gonna win MVP. So you got the MVP. James Harden, hamstring issue. He finessing right now. He finessing that hamstring, man. If it was a playoff game tomorrow, he could ball, man. So James Harden's hamstring finessing. His hamstring is fine. He's going to play. You got your 2 superstars. All you had to give up is 2 first-round picks, whatever. You give up the future to win now. You know the rules. If you want to be a champion, you give up the future. Boom. And then you got rid of Seth Curry, who's like Sean's favorite player. Who's like thinking Seth Curry's
standing
like
by that.
Man, you talk about Seth Curry like he's like he's like Reggie Miller. Not, man. He ain't Reggie Miller, man. He's a nice role player, man. He can hit some threes. He's a little undersized. He's an undersized 2 guard in the playoffs. In the playoffs, he plays no defense, so he's a one-sided basketball player, man. 15 points a game. Whatever. You're replacing that with James Harden, man. You got Tyrese Maxey. Your backcourt is set. So, man, Seth Curry, bye-bye. Okay, you got Andre Drummond. This dude getting paid like $2-3 million. That was a hell of a deal for the Sixers. Mm-hmm. We're getting a quality center for $2-3 million.
And a hell of a deal for the Nets, man. Now they have a solid big man.
They do need some centers down there because they got no size down there.
So Jarrett.
It was a good pickup for them. So shouts to the Nets for getting Andre Drummond. But my oh my, now the Sixers are legit. Like in the beginning, without Harden, man, they ain't winning any championship.
I don't think they're winning now.
Oh,
that's what I think.
You got Harden and Embiid. Okay. Now you're legit.
Yes, you have. You're legit.
You have a legitimate chance.
Way better chance.
You ain't winning with just Embiid and a bunch of guys. It was Embiid and a bunch of dudes, man. You ain't winning no champion. But you got Harden. Stop. Okay, you're in the race now. You're a top 2 team in the East now. You're a top 2 team in the East. Pretty much all they did. Since Ben Simmons was irrelevant, didn't play this year, they flipped Seth Curry and Andre Drummond into James Harden.
Yeah.
That's what happened. That's what happened right there. So
man, we're undervaluing. I feel like we're undervaluing Ben a lot.
Well, he wasn't
hasn't
going to play
played
for
He
them.
didn't
though.
play
He
this
He
year.
hasn't played,
He didn't
but
play this
man,
year. And the
we talk
Sixers
about him
are-
like he's this bench guy. Like he's
No.
Well,
talk about-
he was
to
a bench
them he
guy
was.
because the brother didn't play this year, man. They were
I will agree with
34
that,
and
but
22.
boy.
He didn't play this year, so he had no impact on the overall record of this year's team. And they've been a pretty
that's a fact.
good team
That's a
without Ben Simmons. So you add James Harden to that roster. Doc Rivers, you got some coaching to do.
Yeah.
This
Good
is
luck with
my
that.
one hesitation because you know me, I'm a massive Doc Rivers hater, man. I think this dude is
Good luck with
overrated.
that.
This dude was voted as a top 15 coach of all time. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Like, what is he known for?
He's got some friends.
Thibodeau's
on offense.
defense with that big three Celtics and Rajon Rondo being the point guard on that team and manning the offense. I don't know what much coaching that Doc Rivers done because all that dude has done is won as many playoff games as Vinny Del Negro for the Clippers, man. Like, so stop it with the Doc Rivers love fest. I don't know what James Harden's like. I love Doc Rivers. I want to be coached by such a great coach. Man, he's just a nice guy. That's all he is. People like Doc Rivers.
With a
He's
unique
likable.
voice.
He's got a funny horse
Yeah, the
voice,
raspy boy. Yeah.
raspy ass voice. He looks like a dude that I could grab a beer with and hang out with. But as a head coach, man, he got
Better
one
option.
championship in 20 plus years of coaching.
Yeah.
20 plus years
Hall
coaching,
of
he got one
Famers.
championship, man.
4 Hall of
With Hall-
Famers.
Yeah.
With a lot of Hall of Famers.
Yeah, my
CP3
lord,
too.
overrated, man. It's so overrated. Like, he's got to show some
Oh, I
stuff.
forgot
'Cause
he
right
had
now, he got another championship roster. He had it in the Clippers, blew that opportunity.
Underwhelming.
He had Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, couldn't even make it to the conference finals. He had the Chris Paul, Blake Griffin. My lord, that team was underachieved. Didn't make it to the Western Conference Finals. Okay, now you got another opportunity because you got 2 Hall of Famers, 2 first ballot Hall of Famers. Make it to at least the conference finals this
They
year
will.
and get
I
it
think they
done.
will. I don't think they're
Get
going to
it
win,
done.
though. I look, and I think to Sean's point, right, is how is this going to affect the playoffs, right? And how is it going to affect, right?
Yeah.
I don't see them beating either the Warriors or the Suns. I don't see them winning that series if they were to face up in the finals.
I'm telling you right now, Warriors are vulnerable.
They are
Draymond,
vulnerable, yes.
Draymond
Yeah,
Green's
Draymond's
injury
a
is
big
massive.
factor.
Yeah,
Big
That
They
is
are.
a massive. I feel like
I agree.
it's a lot worse than what they're leading it on. They're like,
Yeah, I don't-
Yeah.
man, Draymond's fine post All-Star break.
he's the glue
Without
to
Draymond,
that entire team.
Steph Curry's not as good. His
Yeah.
impact on Steph
Yeah,
Curry's shooting,
yep, I agree with
massive
that.
impact. So the Warriors
He
don't see
spaces
The
it.
Suns, though, they're
Yeah.
whooping everyone's ass right now.
Yeah, they are, except the Hawks. But you know, but yeah, no, Zoo, I agree. I do think the Warriors have some vulnerabilities. Maybe they'll be able to pull it together come playoff time. I think if Clay continues to have more games under his belt too, he'll only come into his own a bit more. I'm looking in the East though, and I'm thinking, you know, yeah, the Sixers could make it, but there's some tough roads ahead, man. The Heat are no scrubs as a team. I'm not saying that they would destroy the Sixers, but they're
They
no
match
scrubs.
up well.
They match up
Jimmy
well,
Butler
and their
Jimmy
second
Ulster.
unit is
Yeah.
way beyond leagues beyond
Bam.
what the Sixers can
They
put on
got
the floor.
Bam, Tyler Hero, who's having a 6-man.
Duncan Robinson finally.
Duncan
finally
Robinson
playing.
And the hidden,
Don't forget-
and the hidden Jim and Kyle Lowry.
There it is.
Hidden Jim.
Man, he's probably the seventh guy who's going
and
to lose
don't-
off that
and-
Miami Heat roster, man.
And I don't know, is Oladipo coming back this year?
Probably.
Nah, I'm writing him off, man.
Okay, we're writing him off.
I'm writing him
That's
off.
fine. But then Zoo, you look down and you go, okay, well, the whole Nets situation. Sean talked about this pre-production, I think, but you know, if New York
Their
does
team is
anything-
nice, man. It's nice.
It's nice. Ben Simmons comes in. They got Drummond. That's a big lineup. Drummond, Simmons, and KD. I mean, that's a matchup nightmare for
Yeah,
anybody.
you put
Let
Ben
alone
Simmons as a
on
as
Harden.
A big. Yeah,
You put him on
him as a
Harden.
big man.
If he
You put him on
neutralizes
Harden.
Harden, that Nets is going. If it's a playoff series and Ben, because he's already an elite defender, if he somehow
Elite.
maybe neutralizes Harden, that's light work for the
It's
Nets in
over.
the playoffs. That's night work. That's
Because
light work.
Drummond knows Embiid too. Don't forget that. That's the other thing. And he knows
Embiid's gonna
No.
drop 40 on his ass, man.
He could, but don't underestimate that too, you know? And then I think, you know, not that the Celtics are really going to make much noise in the playoffs, but they're a hot
Yeah.
team right now. They
They're a
can
good
cook.
team. They're
they can-
bouncing back, man. They're
bouncing
back.
back.
They underachieved in the beginning of the year.
They're doing what the Hawks did last year. They're really turning it around second half,
Yeah.
a little before the All-Star break. But I'm looking at this Bulls team, man. And you can hate on me for having my hometown bias, but I'm liking where they're going, man. And the fact that they're doing this without, I think, you know, you talk about Draymond being the glue guy in Golden State.
So,
I think the two of the glue guys for the Bulls, DeMar doesn't count. He is the team. Okay,
Now, do you
are
know who he is?
Caruso and
Dude,
and
when I
Zoe.
squint my eyes and watch the Bulls right now,
Michael Jordan
Michael Jordan. That's what I
Yeah.
see right now. Michael Jordan
that
playing
mid-range.
basketball.
Yeah, with that mid-range. But Zoo, I think you could agree. Caruso is the anchor on defense,
Yep.
and Lonzo is the anchor on offense because he moves the ball around. He can also get another spacing.
I don't know about that.
When they
It's
Zoo,
DeMar
when they
DeRozan,
play
man.
ISO
It's
ball,
DeMar DeRozan.
well, yeah, but when they play ISO ball and DeMar, let's just say, God forbid, maybe it'll happen one day, he has an off game. Okay, that team gets way into isolation basketball. But when Zoe's on the floor, they like to move it more. He's also another 3-point shooter. It allows Kobe to come off the bench. Can you imagine Io coming back off the bench with that second unit?
Loaded, man.
It doesn't matter about how
fully loaded, max ammo,
exactly.
baby. When we get Caruso and Zoe.
Exactly. So I think the Bulls are probably one of the toughest teams to go up against in a second unit sense. I think their depth is going to be hopefully cause for other teams' concerns in the playoffs. I'm interested to see what happens. I do think this obviously increases the Sixers' chances. I think it also kind of increases the Nets' chances because they just had a lot of drama going on up there.
Yeah, James Harden, KD.
Yeah.
There was a little beef going on.
So
there's stories coming about
clear the air.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hopefully cleared. Hopefully Ben Simmons is done with his BS and decides
he's
to
going
play
to be
basketball.
done. He's probably going to be ready to play.
He wants his paycheck, and he wants to touch a basketball.
Man, I don't know. Every time I see Ben Simmons, man, this dude full of shit, man. Oh, I got mental health problems.
He definitely
man,
did take advantage.
Get out of here.
He took advantage.
You know what? You got mental health problems? Well, it was training camp, man, in October. Stop it, man. If you actually had those problems, it would have came out before that, man. So stop it, Ben Simmons, with your BS, man.
So now let's clean slate for Ben. Clean slate for Harden.
No excuses for both these guys, man. No excuses. James Harden got it. Joel Embiid, man. Ben Simmons is playing with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Seth Curry. Shooters everywhere, man.
Yep.
Shooters everywhere. My Lord, man.
Just make 5-6 layups a game. Maybe hit a free throw or two and give me 14 assists. That's all I ask of Ben Simmons.
And play elite defense.
And play elite defense. All NBA defense. Exactly. Man. That's what you're asked to. Like, if you don't show up on this Brooklyn Nets team in this situation, my Lord, this is embarrassing. Like, yeah, my God, but my goodness. The Brooklyn Nets, Philadelphia 76ers, I'm salivating for a playoff series for them to beat each other up, man. I want to hear the boos, man. I want Ben Simmons to wet his pants, man. I want to hear the boos for James Harden, man. I want all the drama. All the drama, man.
Let's hope it's before the Bulls have to meet.
They could beat each other up in the semis, and then the Bulls will be fully rested after whooping the Miami Heat and fat ass Kyle Lowry. That's what's gonna happen, man. That's what I'm praying for. We get whooped Jimmy Butler, the former Bull. That's gonna be so sweet, man. Oh, that would be so sweet.
The West, and hey, don't forget a team that didn't make any moves, but they've been the hottest team in the league since Christmas, man. The Memphis Grizzlies, they're creeping up on the Warriors right now, going for that number 2 seed.
I kind of officially put them in that group with them. I think Ja's been so out of this world. I think
in the same group as the Suns?
Yeah.
No.
Up there. Like in terms of like the 3 in the West that I look at, it's like, okay, I can see the finals. Like Memphis is up there now because Zaire Williams, people don't even know about that pick that they had in the first world. Dude, he is nice for a rookie. Like if he's like their like 7th guy, Desmond Bane is this do it all.
Desmond Bane's legit.
They got so many guys, and the thing about Memphis is their whole team is young, and they're kind of like we play for each other. Like there's none of this like we're getting numbers.
No
they're
fat
all young guys, but
routines.
they play. But none of that. Definitely no fat suit routines. I feel like everybody on Memphis is grit and grind, and it goes with their culture too. Just a whole young guy playing hard defense. Not saying Ja's a crazy defender, but. Yeah, they got a nice system in Memphis. Like I was not big on them at the beginning. I was just thinking, well, this is just Ja, and he's going to a new level. But watching their team, watch a couple of their games, they're kind of in that level, that group with Golden State and the Suns. I feel like it's teams in the West that wouldn't shock me if they're in the finals. But with the East, like you say, man, it's just
in the finals. Yeah, I would be pissing my pants if that happened. I would be so shocked, man. Ja Morant in the finals in his 3rd year with no other All-Stars. I'll be shocked.
That would not be shocking. But because it's like you're not in the West, like
one All-Star.
It's not shocking. Against the Suns.
That means they would have to go through the Suns and the Warriors.
Yeah. Especially if Draymond don't come back for the Warriors. Yeah. And then the Suns, I mean, I like them, but they got D-Book. Chris Paul is their X factor. Like
Chris Paul's ridiculous, man.
But
he's like 36 years old.
They've split the series this year. They've split the series.
Have you seen Ja is on some Superman type stuff?
He's D Rose, man. He's
Nah,
skinny D Rose and little
yeah.
Allen Iverson, man. That's what
He
he is
shoots
right
better
now.
than D Rose. Way better. Way
Yeah.
better than D Rose. He's better than D Rose, dog. Hate to break it to you. He way
Yeah,
better.
he might
he
be.
shoots better
I
than
think he
D-Rose.
is.
He shoots better than him, dog.
That hurts
Like,
me to
he may
say
not be
this,
the
man.
athlete,
Oh,
I
that
don't know.
hurts.
Hey, let me just
that
say
hurts,
this.
man. Oh, that hurts so much.
If I would have told Zoo that 3 years ago when I told him I'd rather have him over Zion, he would have laughed me out of the room that I said he was better
No,
than
I
Derrick
said
Rose.
I like Ja. I just said, oh, Zion is going to pick up 330 pounds of fat assery, man.
Well, the signs
Freaking
were
eating
there.
his way out of the league right now. Jesus
whatever.
Christ. Just get the man a salad, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, man. He'll be an all-NBA performer.
Yeah.
My Lord, man.
Well, maybe someday. Now we have the Grizzlies to watch.
But yeah,
so.
but I'm saying, I think like I would say wouldn't be shocking for those three teams, like any of those teams, to be in the finals because I just think
I'll be
Josh-
shocked.
I'd be impressed.
I would be shocked.
I'd be the
I can
most
see,
impressed.
Like, Ja, if
obviously.
you looked in the playoffs last year, like when they
Oh,
was playing against,
I saw
he was
30
going
points.
off, bro.
30
Like,
points against the Utah Jazz, number
He
one
was
seed.
going off. He was going off.
Yeah,
So that
30
kind of
points,
put
man.
us on alert. And then this year, he just, barring health, I could see that being a real issue. But to me, it's all about the East, dog. Like, there's so many teams that you could see.
East
like,
is
okay, the
ridiculous.
East,
Even the
I can see
lower
him
seeds,
coming out, him
like
coming
the
out, him down, yeah.
Cavaliers. Even
They're
the
three
Cavaliers.
seed,
I
man.
don't want to play the Cavs.
Hey, Zoo, just to let you know, they're a 3 seed right now.
Yeah, that's
They're not-
ridiculous.
they're
now
not a
they
low
have
seed.
now they got 2 All-Stars with the subs. Like got Jared Allen, Darius Garland, who's having an unbelievable year. Like this
Yeah.
dude, he's a 6'1" point guard, man. He's
Mobley,
6'1" point guard. Putting up, yeah. LeVert, like they got 20 points score for a draft pick. Like, my God, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
They're another
They're
team.
going all
Post
in.
LeBron.
Yeah.
Post LeBron Cavs. And they're fucking incredible
Yeah.
right now. Like Bickerstaff, that guy's coach of the year.
It's either him or the Grizzlies.
I'm taking Bickerstaff because his ability. Because these are all
And they
random-
lost
random
Colin
pieces.
Sexton.
Yeah, they lost
True.
Colin Sexton, who's their young stud, 20 points a game. Darius Garland comes in, incorporating Laurie Marketing, incorporating a rookie in Evan Mobley, 3 7-footers in a lineup dominated by perimeter players. I don't even know how that worked. Like Ricky Rubio came in, he revitalized his career, tore his knee. They lost him, and they're still dominating. I'm just like,
They actually
My
were able
Lord.
to flip him on
yeah,
injury.
They were able to flip him, a draft pick. Like, my Lord, I don't even know how the Cavs are winning 60.
So how many teams? So legitimately, so if you're going through the playoffs and you're like, okay, who? We just talked about the West. Who could you see in the playoffs? We said 3 teams. Well, you guys said 2. I said 3.
I said 2.
In the East, how many could you legit be like, oh, that's not like you
Miami
look up?
Heat, Bulls,
Yeah. Yep,
Sixers,
2, 3,
Milwaukee,
4,
Nets.
Sixers.
5.
You missed,
Yes.
yeah.
So that's 5 teams.
5 teams.
That's crazy. That just tells you.
I think
the
there's
playoffs.
there's a legit probably 6 that I would be considering if you were to put placing a bet to win a championship. Like you could bet Milwaukee to win it, and you probably be like,
easily
okay,
Milwaukee,
right?
easily Milwaukee.
Philadelphia, you might be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn, Chicago might be a long bet. Personal shareholder myself. Phoenix, obviously, I think they're the favorite right now. And Golden State, you can't hate. Grizzlies would be your dark horse, probably, if you were to pick a dark horse.
I just don't. I'm
Right?
just
So it's like,
Now, you know what they remind me of?
Miami
The
Heat
Bengals.
bubble team.
No, the Bengals.
Oh,
The
You
Cincinnati
talking about
Bengals.
Memphis?
Yeah.
Mm.
Young stud ahead of schedule. Everything clicking, chemistry on fire.
Hey,
It reminds me of it, man. It reminds me of it a lot. But
I'd
that
take a
road is
finals
tough.
appearance if I were them.
Man,
Memphis
that road
could
is-
use it, man.
Yeah, that road is tough though.
For
And
me,
that's
I don't.
the
In the East, it's almost like a pick 'em. Like none of those teams are like shocking. Where it's like, this because it's really the seeding is gonna be
Seeding
a
matters,
huge
man.
factor.
Yeah.
Because
factor.
there's a
This
massive difference between if you play the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round or the Toronto
Cavs.
Raptors
Or the
Like,
Cavs.
Yeah, my Lord.
Like there's gonna be I could see a lot of 6-7 game series in the East.
Man, all I
legitimately.
know is I want to play the 8th seed. That's all I want to know, man.
The
I wanna
Nets?
play
Yep, that's ideally you would want.
Nets are going up after this comes back, man.
But like
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's wide
I
open.
still-
I think
I
that's
still
my
think
point. I
I
don't think the trade did anything.
Yeah, no, that's why I say I really do think it was.
You know what the trade
good for
did? It
both
made
teams.
both teams better in the
Yeah.
short term.
Sure.
Yeah.
In
That's
the
a good
short
way to
term.
put it.
I think in the short term, I think it made both teams better. So it's like those are one of the rare NBA trades where each team got what they wanted.
Yeah.
I
And
still
got
think-
away with what they wanted to get away.
I still think Giannis though. I still think Giannis is looking around. It's like, all right, guys, all right, guys. All this Nets, Bulls, Sixers. I think Giannis is kind of looking like, all right, who do you have that can guard me? Come back and talk to me. I think that's what
Ben
Giannis
Simmons.
is doing a lot, dude.
Ben Simmons?
Maybe. That would have to be the only guy. I think Giannis, and like you said, that's why the
Patrick
East is going to be
Williams?
so
that would be
interesting,
such a
dude.
nice matchup.
Is he
Ben
coming
Simmons,
back?
Giannis?
Patrick Williams, yeah, he's coming back. Yeah,
And
before
that's a
regular
nice
season's
X-factor,
over.
too.
Okay,
He can just
Sean.
come in and give you
Patrick
defense.
Williams, man. This brother better show something, man. I want to see Scotty
He's
Barnes
coming
numbers.
off injury, bro. Come on,
Man,
Yeah.
fourth
You know
overall
that ain't-
pick.
Yeah, I told y'all before the season.
Give him
him and
time,
Scotty they're from the same college, but there's two different skill sets. Patrick,
Yeah,
No,
Yeah,
you said you like
Scotty.
Patrick Williams more than Scotty Barnes at the beginning of the draft.
I
but
did.
then we saw
I'm
Scotty
talking
Barnes
about in terms
play.
of skill set. Yeah, I didn't see Scotty Barnes play, and I saw when this was the year before I saw Scotty play, and when I saw him at Florida State, because he's a 6'9" guy that can dribble.
Mm.
So I mean, and he could create, and he likes to create, and now he's shooting awful. But like before that, people said he had no shot. So your shot's going to get better. So yeah, that's why Toronto, dude. And
Toronto's incredible story.
Siakam's been playing. a whole
Siakam is
lot
balling. Van
VanVleet.
Fleet is an all-star. You got
Mhm.
Scotty Barnes. I thought they were going to go pretty much rebuild after. Actually, no.
They kind of
You know,
did.
Yeah, they sort of did. they got rid of my most hated player ever, Kyle Lowry. Got rid of his ass, and
they
they
got
have
rid of
been
him with
unleashed,
DeRozan,
man.
yeah.
They were
Yeah.
so smart, man. They allowed Van Fleet taking over as a starting point guard, and he has flourished in that role.
They also just
Yes.
coached a lot of their young guys into
Nick
good
Nurse
players.
is an incredible head coach.
Great
Yeah,
coach.
yeah, he's top.
Better
Fred-
than Doc Rivers.
You
Oh,
could
come
argue.
on. That's
Better
I
than
mean,
Doc
come
Rivers.
on.
yeah, he's better than Doc. He's
Got the same number of championships. But
Yeah.
Fred, they developed him.
Mhm.
Siakam was pretty early, but they've
Oh,
consistently
they
tried
developed
to,
him. They developed him.
he could have easily decided to peak and not tried to improve his game after winning that finals and just been like, yo, I played well, man. My game works in the NBA. But not, he's consistent, he's kept his game going. I think that is big
OG,
for that
they
team.
developed him too.
OG
They
and
developed
Anunoby.
OG, and they're already developing Scotty, and he's meshing.
Dude,
and
they
that's
have
all
all
you can ask
these-
for.
All these 6'7", 6'8",
Yeah.
long, lanky dudes plays defense, two-way guys.
Yep.
Like they're building a roster. Like this is
Yeah,
very
they might
impressive.
bother- they
Post
might
Kawhi,
bother.
They're building a good roster. Post
They might
Kawhi.
bother somebody. That speaks to Masai Ujiri too. It's just he's a hell
Great
of a
Yep.
GM.
Dude, incredible.
Great GM.
He's
Incredible.
good.
Because that Scotty Barnes pick, that was anti-consensus. Consensus was Jalen
Because he
Suggs,
couldn't
who
shoot.
was a
Yeah, 'cause
starting
he couldn't
college.
shoot.
But then they saw this guy and they're like, man, screw the point guard. We're gonna take the long dude. The
You know
6'9"
what
guy who
happened
can
is he
dribble.
went to that workout, and I think people really didn't understand his ball skills. At Florida State, Florida State, what they do with their just any freshman, don't matter if you're like the number one guy or ranked 200 guy, they don't play a lot of minutes. They play like 10 guys. So Scotty really didn't get to run the offense like he wanted to kind of the tournament. Even though they didn't go too far, I think they got to the Sweet 16. But if you go back and look at those tournament games, he was coming up the court. And the thing that was so interesting about him is that I knew he could dribble because there were 5'10" and 5'11" guys on other guys trying to get under him, and he was not panicking. So okay, it's he's confident in his dribble. And then once he got to the league, he kind of just took off. So yeah, the only reason why I love Patrick Williams so much is because his defensive prowess. He has the potential to.
That's all I want him for.
He can really.
I need him to guard Giannis
Yeah.
Antetokounmpo and make him work. That's all I want.
He can make him work,
I
but he
want-
can't guard him.
And KD.
Nobody can guard Giannis.
And KD. I want to make them
Just
tired.
make
man.
him tired.
Make him
Yeah.
tired. Make him take tough
That'll be a-
shots.
that'll
make
be a
them
nice
exhaust
extra.
energy.
Foul Giannis. Take some fouls.
Yeah, 6 fouls. Yeah. But man, like you say, this is the first time in forever since I feel like
The
I've been
East
an
is
adult. I'm
stacked.
interested in the East. I'm so interested in the East.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention also for Toronto, man. That trade to get Gary Trent Jr.
Yeah, nice.
That's
Looking.
another one.
This dude putting up points.
He
This
can
guy putting
shoot the
they
lights
put
out.
Norm Powell, this Trent Jr. He's young, 25 years old, 6'5", shooting threes, man. They got some players. They got some
And
players.
I think, Sean, to your point about Suggs, right? I think they believed enough in Fred to lead that team as pretty much their point guard too.
Yep.
Yeah,
They're like, we
paid
need
him,
some
man.
more
They paid him.
compliments for him. So
Mhm.
they made the right call, man. Even though it wasn't, to Zoo's point,
And even with
popular
Suggs, I think Franz Wagner's been the better rookie on that team. He's been a
for
nice
Orlando,
regulation.
he's been more productive.
Yeah,
More productive.
way more productive. So I don't know. It's jury's still out, and the rookies don't want to make cast aspersions right now. But like I said, we're going to be talking a lot of NBA. Like I said, East is loaded. We kind of got our clear cuts in the West, and we're just going to keep going from there. Make sure you guys follow us on all the socials: bullheaded_pod, Instagram, Twitter. Make sure you're on TikTok, bullheaded864. Also, we're on all the DSPs, Spotify, Apple, Google. I will say we're on Google. If anybody has some feedback about Google, I've been kind of seeing that it's not uploading the same day. It's kind of being delayed. So I might have to check out the URL with that. So with the Google Podcasts, anybody shoot me a comment or something that they're not getting on that. But we're on the main two, Spotify and Apple. So make sure you guys listen on that. And for me, Zoo and P. Bush, we're out.